I wanted to start off by saying congratulations.
Thank you.
They put a lot of effort and time into making this the perfect day, and I can say it was nothing short of that, as I'm sure a lot of you agree. Brian has been in my life now longer than he hasn't. I really don't remember anything before him, so he's really been a brother to me far before today. But I'm excited to officially call you my brother. I really do give you a lot of credit for putting up with us for this long. Extremely crazy family, and you're a little shy at first, but you did it. Personally, I think I've been waiting for this for about 10 years. You guys have been dating for 11, so I probably knew that you were the one for Aileen before Aileen did. Brian has always been there for me as a protector, a support system, a friend, and I know he always will be, and I hope you know that I always will be there for you too. He's shown me how to treat a girl, how I know I deserve to be treated. I'm so grateful to know you. You both have been great role models for me growing up. Aileen, you've taught me the typical older sister stuff like hair and makeup. You also told me how to get what I want by not bombarding Mom. Instead, she says that if you just ask once, Mom comes around. I think Mom would say that I didn't learn from that. Brian has taught me a lot too, like how to put someone in a half Nelson. You never know when you might need that one. Never. What? When Aileen and Brian first started dating, I took a lot of pride in third-wheeling their relationship. I especially look forward to the Rita's dates that they would take me on occasionally. I don't think I'd ever felt cooler than riding in Brian's Jeep with the music blasting. As you may know, Aileen went 8 years as an only child, hoping for a baby sibling. On August 20th, 2002, her prayers were blessed. Her beautiful baby sister was born to me. And then her prayer was answered 6 more times. I hope you enjoyed your time as an only child. It's long gone. My fondest memories growing up together, I think, revolve around dance, which connected us despite our 8-year age gap. Aileen would make up dances for me in the house, and I had a great time performing them. Watching her dance on stage at recitals was the first time I think I really looked up to her, and ever since she's been the biggest role model for me. Aileen has always been responsible and reliable. She's unconditionally selfless and thoughtful of others. She's focused on our goals and is driven to achieve them. She's everything I hope to someday be. And her tough love motivates me to be that person. I couldn't have asked for a better big sister. So our Aunt Bern and Uncle Tom, his 51st anniversary is tomorrow, and since I am a ripe age of 19, I know absolutely nothing about marriage. I thought I would ask them for some advice, since I have nothing to offer. Uncle Tom says that opposites make it work. If you know Uncle Tom and Aunt Bern, you know that's true. If you know Aileen and Brian, you know that's also true, and they balance each other perfectly. Uncle Tom also added that once you're together for a long period of time, your spouse becomes able to read your mind, which is scary. So Aileen is Aunt Bern's niece, so I just watch out for that. At school, I take an Italian culture class. We briefly talked about Dante and his impactful work And a particular line from his that I thought was appropriate for tonight goes, "Remember tonight, for it is the beginning of always." It's also quoted by Lucas Scott from One Tree Hill, which is why I actually know it. You both are beautiful. I love you. Cheers.
A round of applause for Annalise. All right, Michael, this one's going to be a tough act to follow, but I think you can do it. Let's have a round of applause for best man, Michael Lucier.
Not that high. Jeez. All right, well, I thought I had this speech in the bag, but that speech just was crazy. All right, so I'm going to try this. So, good evening, everyone. I want to first thank Brian for giving me the honor to serve as his best man. I also want to thank Aileen's parents, Sean and Joanna, her step-parents, Eric and Maureen, my father, Larry, and my mom, Debbie, who is in our hearts and with us in spirits on this beautiful wedding. Dad, your two boys are married. Congratulations. For those who I have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Mike Lucier, and I am Brian's older brother. Brian was the best man in my wedding last month, and to say that he fulfilled that role was a major understatement. One of the best highlights from that night was Brian's unbelievable best man speech, which he absolutely crushed, so I hope I can return the favor. Brian has been and always will be my best friend. Through the easiest and hardest of times, Brian has always been someone I can turn to. He is one of the hardest workers I know and is never afraid to put his head down and get the job done, whether it has to do with his job, with school, or with being there for our family and our parents. Brian is also one of the most loyal people I know. It says a lot that my little brother's character, that his beautiful wife is his high school sweetheart, and that he has been best friends with his groomsmen, John and Travis, since they were kids. Brian will always be the best person to have in your corner. As you know, both of us fell in love with the sport of wrestling, and it is something that we bonded over since childhood. The countless battles we've had at home served as constant source of... What? The countless battles that we had at home served as constant source of entertainment for my dad and never-ending anxiety for my mom. As if it wasn't enough that Brian was his own harshest critic, he had to deal with me always being hard on him because I knew just how good he was and how great he would become. Being able to coach Brian in his senior year of wrestling will forever be my biggest accomplishment as a coach. Along with being in his corner for every match that year, I also was his drill partner every day in practice. Even though I've come to the realization that I probably suffered multiple concussions by his gigantic, heavy, caveman hands, head mugging and hand fighting every day during that season, I would not have traded that for anything in the world. Oh, and by the way, as you stated in your speech last month, thanks for letting me think that I've always won. But we know the truth that I always did win. There are obviously too many stories and journeys Brian and I have shared to mention here today. When I was writing this part, a few specific things came to mind. We worked together at the cemetery for multiple summers, and all the shenanigans, trash talking, and hard work made for some of the funniest and fulfilling times. Our summers also included the annual Lucier summer parties. And when Mom and Dad went down the shore and mistakenly gave us reign of the house. I distinctly remember you taking people on your pegs of your bike to their cars, which we had parked in St. Mary's nursing home behind our house, so it wouldn't look like we had anyone over. When summer ended, you would come to visit me in college and were given the nickname Little Luce. The infamous apartment party raid will forever be one of my favorite stories from college. For those who have not heard this story, my friends and I threw a get-together at my apartment when Brian was visiting at the age of 15. Campus police showed up, and there was only one viable option: escaping through the window and running. As we fled the scene through the softball fields and jumping fences, I got stuck and was hanging upside down by my belt. Brian was the only person to come back for me, even against my instructions to keep running so he wouldn't get in trouble. When I asked him why he came back, without hesitation, he said, "That's what brothers do." Brian, you have saved me time and time again since then. Aileen, I know I've told you this a dozen times today, but you look absolutely beautiful, and I'm so glad to officially have a little sister and welcome you to the family. Though you have been around for what seems like forever, it is a pleasure to now call you my sister-in-law and to have had the pleasure of watching you and Brian grow into the awesome adults. When you and Brian first started dating in high school, I was away at college, but still remember the way Brian talked to you when we used to play Call of Duty. In between the cursing as Brian beat me and my friends and listening to him giggle, getting to know you through Xbox was pretty awesome. I then realized your relationship really meant something when Brian started spending more time with you than on Xbox. Good choice. Seeing you in the stands at Brian's wrestling matches, sometimes squirming restlessly, sometimes covering your eyes, and sometimes flat out screaming at him, made me realize that you were really in it for the long haul. Most high school girls would have spent that time out social outings and time to gossip, but you were there for Brian and Brian alone, and you have been it every day since. It takes a special person to be with a wrestler, and I commend you for being there for him through that. It takes an even more special person to be with a Lucier. We are truly a different breed. You have been with our family through the good times and the hard times, especially during these last couple of years when our mother was sick. Brian may put on a tough facade, but nothing prepares you for watching sickness wreak havoc on your family. And I don't think any of us could have gotten through it without you. I cannot express enough my gratitude for your help, support, love, and laughter you have given to our family for the last 11 years and continue to this day. You bring so much to my brother's life that my words cannot begin to do it justice. Brian and Aileen, it is clear that you two are made for one another. The fierceness in which you love and defend each other has no limits. I have loved watching both of you grow into the amazing people you are today while managing to grow your relationship and transform it into the start of an amazing marriage. You leave a lasting impression on everyone whose lives you touch, and together you will both be a force to reckon with. I know you will carry this love and loyalty you have for one another into a growing family. Jameson and your future children are so lucky to have you. They say you don't marry the person you can live with. You marry the person you can't live without. I say that sums up Brian and Aileen perfectly. So let's raise our glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Lucier.
All right, let's have a round of applause for Michael. Woo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your dinner.